Number to call. Let's speak to Henry in Chelsea tonight. Henry, good evening.
Good evening, Ben. Thank you very much for having me on. I'm not a veteran, but the first thing to say of all of this today is how sad is it that we only really talk about this on what could quite possibly be the last Memorial Day for many of these veterans, not throughout the year. And this is something I blame mostly on our leaders. Sunak leaving, of course, was a disgrace. But I think he and kind of the British government do more, perhaps not enough, but we do more for our veterans than some of our allies. And the reason I say that is I thought the Biden speech today was very good, but I think he is profoundly not just anti-British, but unsuited to represent soldiers and veterans alike.
Joe Biden, what makes you say that, Henry?
Well, the reason I say that is I think we're witnessing a power transfer at the moment. From west to east, we're seeing a rise of authoritarian states, an axis of authoritarian states on the rise. And I think the only suitable way to combat that, it requires strong leadership, someone that does not shy away. And that's why I think, even this 2024 US election is so important. I think it's undeniable that Trump was a peacemaker in many ways. The world was safer with Trump, whether it be the Abraham Accords. He stepped at the...
Henry, I don't want to have a debate about the US presidential election. We've done that plenty. We'll do it again.
Sure.
I actually think the US does a far better job of looking after their veterans than we do. There's a real culture there, isn't there, of almost deference at most, and at the very least, respect and gratitude that we don't have here. And that's not just on the government. I think they have much more of a culture of respect and thanks to those that served in their military than we do in this country.
Yeah, I think you're right in many ways. I mean, the first duty of government, of course, here has to be to protect its people, our people, not least our veterans. And that's why I think here in Britain, something we need to focus on is the education system has to play its part in reminding particularly young people, of course, were kind of too young to experience what happened, but nonetheless should, of course, remember and recognize what happened. And I think many of the freedoms and liberties that people fought for historically are now being taken for granted by some young people, not, of course, all young people, but who are just simply unaware of what's happened and what was sacrificed. And I think our education system does have to play its part in kind of mending that.
What do you think that young people aren't being taught about enough, Henry?
Yeah, so the sacrifice that was made, what happened exactly? I think, as I say, many of the liberties that were sacrificed. And I think what it could even come down to, people look down. It could even be as simple as people look down on skills and trades like a military career. And I think that's been kind of so frowned upon. Our defences have been cut back. That's another element of it, in the name of other more kind of attractive qualifications. That's not something I believe, but that it seems to be what's happened in the name of graduate or educational skills.
Henry, thank you very much indeed for the call. Just on that point,